Trudy here from This Chick Means Business, and I really wanted to share something that's come up as a bit of a theme today, and that's fear and inability to take action, or a reluctance or struggle to take action to move forward in growing your business. You know, doing those things that you know you should be doing, but somehow you find yourself not doing them, and you've been scrolling through Facebook for an hour, and then you get back to it and you're kind of like, hey, I haven't done this thing. I should go do that thing, right? Okay, so I put a post up in a group today, and I was talking about scaling your business. And when I talk about scaling your business, I'm talking about setting up the systems and processes that's going to move you from purely one-on-one up into being able to leverage your time and work smarter, not harder, and create more money and more time and more freedom and all of the things that we get into business for. And I asked in the group, I'm like, does the thought of scaling your business, does it fill you with fear? Is it exciting? Do you have doubts around your ability? Does it feel dangerous? Does it set off all those feelings in your body like danger and put you on alert? Does it sound like actually it's a little bit boring? Or does it bring up feelings of uncertainty? And I was so surprised that pretty much everyone, well, nearly everyone said all of those things. The thought of scaling your business brings up all of those emotions. And it probably seemed like a bit of a strange question. Then I had a client call today, and my gorgeous client was like, I haven't taken any action. I feel really stuck. I don't know what to do. We talked about all of the things that were potentially blocking her from taking action. And she didn't have the systems right. She didn't have the processes. She didn't know if she had clients, how she would cope anyway. And all of these things point to your hindbrain. And that is, your hindbrain doesn't believe that it's safe for you to take the actions that you need to be taking to scale up your business, to grow your business, to go out there and find those clients. And then what it does, it sabotages your success. Now, I've gone through this as well, and something that I'm now doing, finally, is going to see the accountant, because I know one of the reasons I was sabotaging, holding myself back and stopping my business growth was because I didn't have a few things set up, right? So, you know, put up a little heart or a thumbs up if this sounds like something you've ever been through before, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching the recording. So what do we do to overcome our hindbrain's response to anything new? Anything that it might think could be dangerous for us, that could be doubts around it, is uncertain, that doesn't have any of these things in place for us, for it to be easy, or for the hindbrain to know that it's safe for us to take action. And there was a couple of things I talked to my client about to do about today. Get my words out. Sorry, I'm on my phone and somebody just sent me a text message. So these are some things that I suggested. Put your hand on your heart and really allow yourself to honestly feel whatever it is that is potentially stopping you from taking action. The niggly doubts, the things that you're not certain of. Get it all out of your head and write it down. Because when you write it down, you can emotionally disassociate from it, and then you can start putting plans into action. Now, remember, the hindbrain, it wants to keep you safe. So it needs to know, specifically in the next 24 hours, that whatever action you want to take, it's safe to do so. So that's where start putting your plans in place. And then move into your midbrain and start pattern matching, creating a visual image of how it will look when it's done. Because this is going to reassure the hindbrain that the midbrain's in sync with it. And then the logic, the high brain, can actually start taking the actions. Now, sometimes in business, some of the things that we're afraid of, they're pretty deep and they're pretty big. And a big thing that comes up, and I'm still working through it to a certain degree myself, is the fear of visibility. What if somebody trolls us? What if somebody doesn't agree with us? What if somebody pulls us up on our qualifications or whatever. Now, my thing for that is think, what is that thing that you're afraid of people calling you out on? What's that one thing? Now, I got taught this process probably about 5 years ago, and when I was working with youth, and I did this process, and I tell you what, I stopped being afraid. Whatever the thing is that you are afraid that people will call you on, or they might pull something out from your past, or they might tell you that you're wrong, there's a piece that I encourage a lot of my clients to do, and this was taught to me, and it's called a liar and a fraud. Write it out. Write a full blog. I am a liar and a fraud. I don't have XYZ set up. I don't feel that I'm qualified. And write it out and get it out of your system. But then once you've written that, then write why you are actually able to do the thing. Why the thing you're afraid of makes you a better person. Why it actually adds value to the work that you do. Because if you remove the fear of what you're going to get called out on in regards to your visibility about showing up online, it's heaps easier to show up online. It could be people. If you're worried about people, block them. So here's an example. Back in the day, I used to run a business that worked with teenagers, and I was terrified that parents would find out that I had a history of partying and taking recreational drugs back in my 20s. So I wrote a liar and a fraud piece about that. So not only did I write it, and I felt really good about writing it, I actually shared it with my mailing list at the time. Now that's a big thing to do because the judgment is huge. Now, of course, there were some unsubscribes, but there was a lot of parents that were like, oh, someone I can talk to about drugs because I've never taken drugs and that can help me talk to my teenagers about it. So here's a couple of things for you. List all of the things that come up that you're afraid of when it comes to growing your business, that you feel you're not certain about doing, that things that might make you feel bored, things that frighten you. Write it all out. So for me, I've got an appointment with the accountant on Friday to get one of my big fears out of the way. So then I'll stop sabotaging my business. So it happens to all of us. Put those things out there, write them down, do your liar and a fraud activity, write it out at least. If you feel ready, share it, depending on what it is. Now, there's some things that you might think about with that activity that might have a negative impact on other people. If you share it, then don't share it, or share it with a couple of people. But get that stuff out and acknowledged and down on paper, so at least then you know what your brain is fighting you against, and start creating the imagery and creating the feeling of safety for your hindbrain so you can start taking the action. Because mindset, sabotage, your hindbrain working against yourself and all the cellular stuff is one of the biggest things that stops people from progressing and being successful in their business. So have a think about it, have a go, write it down. I know there's lots of people out there that journal. However you go with it, feel free to post some comments below this live. Share it with your friends, especially your biz buddies if you know they're feeling a little bit stuck. Know that you're not alone. Denise Duffield Thomas says, new level, same devil, because no matter where you're at in business, things are always going to come up. So it's how we respond to the things that make us uncomfortable. That's how our business can grow or not grow. So if you're ready to scale, start being prepared to face the fears, dangers, doubts, uncertainties. Look at the things that could be boring, write them down, get them out, and stop self-sabotaging and start creating success.